By the time that you're seeing this video, I will be done my finals and thus done with the fall semester of my junior year. And I thought that I'd make a video reflecting on what I've learned this semester while it's still fresh in my mind. But first, a word from our sponsor. I'd now like to thank Grammarly for sponsoring this video. Grammarly is a digital writing assistant that I've used and paid for years now. It's incredibly easy to install, set up, and get started. You just download the browser extension, create a free account, and you are good to go. The free version of Grammarly is great. It helps check your spelling, your grammar, and your punctuation. But the premium version goes way beyond. Grammarly Premium enables you to write more readable, concise, and effective text, among many other features. And I can honestly say, as someone who has been paying for it for years, it's an awesome product that has been really helpful in my life. I have a tendency when writing essays on the fly to get a little bit convoluted with some of my sentences, and Grammarly Premium has an awesome feature called Clarity AI that identifies these sentences and suggests how I might make them more clear, ultimately making my writing more readable and effective. You can get started with Grammarly today by going to grammarly.com/johnfish, where you can sign up for a free account and get 20% off Grammarly Premium. That's grammarly.com/johnfish to sign up for a free account and get 20% off Grammarly Premium. Now, I can't lie to you, online school has been rough. It's been very rough at some points for me. But as a result of the unique challenges posed this semester, I feel like I've learned a lot more about myself than in a typical college semester. At the beginning of the semester, I was running on basically pure excitement, and I actually really enjoyed the first few weeks of school. But as things started to get a little bit more difficult and the excitement wore off, I began to realize that there were no boundaries in my life between school, my social life, work, and rest. At the same time as I was trying to talk to friends, I was getting notifications from my classes, and so I had this kind of ongoing stress always on me, always thinking a little bit about school. There was no time that I would just turn my brain off. And this kind of makes sense because the digital world is not exactly designed for boundaries. It's designed for engagement. And so I was constantly engaged in the school, and that started to hurt my well-being pretty quickly. So what I had to learn to do was create internal boundaries, because previously there were these kind of external boundaries. When I'd go back to my dorm room, I would be chilling and I'd be with friends physically, and I wouldn't be thinking about school. I wasn't doing everything on the same devices, so I had to create those boundaries. What this really means is taking time where I will say, no, I'm not gonna look at that notification, that email, whatever. I'll look at that later. Doing this does two things primarily for me. One, it helps my brain rest when it needs to rest. And two, it helps my brain really engage in the activity that I'm partaking in, whether that's school or whether that's socializing or as simple as, going for a walk. It's a practice of being in the moment and not being elsewhere while you're doing something. It's a really healthy thing to do, and it's not natural in the digital world. As I reflect on previous semesters and previous years in college, it's pretty clear to me now in retrospect that I've been pretty bad at setting boundaries. In the past, if I've been worried about school or a relationship or work, if any of these things have been stressful, I've let that stress permeate into other aspects of my life, and I haven't created these boundaries to say, I'm not going to think about that right now. I'm going to focus on what I'm doing, on the task at hand. Creating psychological space in this way gives your brain time to rest, and it makes it more able to fully engage in future activities. When I took time off from Harvard last year, one of the biggest lessons that I had to learn had to do with socializing. I learned that I had to be very proactive with my relationships because I was no longer proximate to anyone by circumstance. I didn't have classmates I was bumping into in the library. I didn't have friends I was bumping into in the dining halls, right? Instead, I had to seek out new friends and seek out opportunities to engage with my current friends. There was no real room to be lazy with making and maintaining friendships, as there is in college to some extent. And what I found was that when I wasn't being proactive, this would affect my well-being pretty significantly. I would feel lonely, I would crave social interaction, and that's only natural, it's only human. We are social animals. We are not designed to live on our own in isolation. I think that online school in many ways magnified this problem, both for me and for pretty much every other student. I realized halfway through the semester that this was the first semester in which I had not yet made any new friends. And more than that, I was neglecting my existing friends because I hadn't set any boundaries, and so I was just kind of focused on doing my work and otherwise killing time. And so I've really had to lean into the skill of building online relationships, because a lot of relationships are online right now, and through online school, that's your relationship with all your classmates. And concurrent with this, I've also really had to lean back into being proactive with my friendships. It was something that I kind of let go during earlier months of this year, and I definitely suffered as a result. So seeking out opportunities to go on walks and to get coffee and to have conversations with people in real life. It's something that is so essential a component to being happy for me, and yet so easily neglected while in online school. You might have noticed a few times in this video already, I've talked about mental health and well-being. And truthfully, I'm not sure that I would have done that a few years ago. Vulnerability has not generally come easy to me. I tend to be someone who internalizes a lot of my emotions, and I don't share them with other people a lot. But this semester has shown me just how important it is to be vulnerable about emotions like loneliness, because it's really, really easy to feel lonely when you are working alone on a computer science problem set at 2 a.m. and you're exhausted and you're overwhelmed. In college, you might be in the library with friends, or you might be, struggling through this with people. Not so with online school. It's very easy to feel alone, and I definitely felt that a lot. And so in vocalizing these emotions and in sharing them with various people, be it therapists, be it friends, family, classmates, it really helped me to realize that I am not alone, that a lot of people are struggling right now, that those emotions are completely normal, and that it's okay. And at a logical level, I understood this, for sure. But it's different to understand something, I think, sometimes at a logical level and an emotional level. And that was definitely true for me this semester. I had to experience these kind of negative emotions, share them with people, understand what this was really like, and know that we're going to get through it together. So I think that vulnerability is a massive strength, and this semester has made that very clear. And I've also learned to see it more as a skill that can be developed, not as something inherent in me. I definitely have a proclivity to internalize my emotions, but that just means that I have to develop the skill more, and I've been doing that. It takes practice, it takes getting uncomfortable, but it's 100% doable. Those are the three major lessons that I took away from this semester of online college. Boundaries are important, socializing is a priority, and vulnerability is a massive strength. I also learned a lot about computer science and psychology and philosophy. It was a really cool semester from a content perspective, actually. Speaking of content, I'm not done this semester yet. I have to go write a final, so I'm gonna end this video here. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got something out of it. If you have advice for me, feel free to leave it in the comments, especially about making new friends in online school. I feel like that's like one of the big questions for me that I have yet to kind of make any progress on with online school. But yeah, hopefully you're doing well. If you're still in finals, good luck. You're gonna crush it. I believe in you. Feel free to like and subscribe if you want to. I'm John Fish, and I'll see you again soon.